Hello, I'm Joey Frady, and today we're going to install ThingWorx 8.4 using the Linux installer. During this video, you're going to learn how to install PostgreSQL 9.6, install ThingWorx 8.4 foo, and also how to obtain and configure a license for ThingWorx. So today we're going to begin with installing Postgres. So what we're going to do here is open up the terminal. Mine is downloaded into the downloads directory, so I'm just going to change directory to downloads. So what we need to do first is we need to do a chmod for the Postgres installer, and then we need to run the installer as sudo. Hit enter, type in the password. And the Postgres installer is running. It takes a few seconds for it to boot up. So we have our setup wizard. Let's just go ahead and hit next here. We're going to leave the installation directory to the default of opt PostgreSQL 9.6. Hit next. Same thing with the data directory. Hit next. And we need to type in the password for the Postgres superuser. There is no character limit or special character or number requirements for this. So go ahead and hit next. Let's leave the port as 5432. Hit next. We can leave the default to the locale to the default as well. And then let's go ahead and hit next one more time. And it's going to take a few minutes to install. Okay, so now that it's done installing, we can uncheck Stack Builder since we don't need to run it, and then hit finish. So what we need to do next is we need to go to where we installed it. So let's go to the computer here, go to opt, go to Postgres, go to 9.6. Now we need to go to the data directory. We need to provide our password to go into it. And this pghba.conf file, we need to actually go in and modify it. We need to do our password again. So down here, where it says MD5 for the local, the host for the IPv4 and the host for the IPv6, we need to change that MD5 to trust. Okay, so now once that we did that, we can go ahead and save the file and close it, and we can close our directory as well. So now that we've done that, we need to actually change users to the super user. So type in su and type in the password. Okay, so now that we're actually the root, we need to go ahead and add the Postgres bin directory to the path environment variable. So let's go ahead and type in export path equals $path, and then we need to do a :/opt PostgreSQL 9.6 bin, and then hit enter. So now if we want to go ahead and check to see that we actually added it, we could do echo $path, and as you see here at the end, our :opt Postgres 9.6 bin has been appended to the path environment variable. So we need that to run the ThingWorx installer. So now that we did that, we can go ahead and do this chmod for the ThingWorx installer, and then we can go ahead and run it. We don't need to do it as sudo since we are the super user right now. And hit run. And it takes a couple seconds to go ahead and start the installer. As you see here, the PTC logo popped up, so the installer has started. So what this warning is telling us, it's telling us that we don't meet the minimum specifications. We're installing it on a VM image, and for this instructional video only, so we can go ahead and just hit OK. But if you're doing this in for actual use, you need to make sure that you are running the minimum requirements. So let's go ahead and hit OK. So the next thing you do, we're going to just go ahead and hit forward, because that's just telling us that the installer has started up. Let's go ahead and accept the license agreement. Hit forward. We're going to go ahead and leave this as the default location of opt again. So hit forward. Same thing with the ThingWorx config username. We'll just leave it the default of TWX Foundation. Let's go ahead and hit forward. Now we need a password for the ThingWorx administrator. So it needs to be at least 14 characters with at least one special character and at least one number. Alright, so now that we properly typed in the password, let's go ahead and look at our ports and everything. So one thing that I've ran into with this installer on Linux is if I go ahead and change the port from 8080 to say 80, the installer has been failing. I currently, as of the recording of this video, have a tech support ticket open, but it is in process, so I do not have a resolution for that issue yet. So we're going to go ahead and leave that to default of 8080, and we're just going to go ahead and hit forward. Now we need to enter our Postgres information. So our host name for Postgres is localhost, because we did do it on the local system. Our port is 5432, which was the default that we did. We need to change the admin username to Postgres, and we need to type in our password for it. And then we need to create a database login for password for the ThingWorx database in Postgres. And this needs to be at least 10 characters with at least one special character and one number. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit forward. And this is confirming our information. So let's go ahead and hit forward again. And this is saying that we're ready to install. Let's go ahead and hit forward and install. So this is going to take a few minutes to install. Okay, now that the setup is finished, let's just go ahead and click finish. So this window, this installation summary pops up. So what this is telling you, it's telling your port, your SSL port, your initial heap, and your max heap. And this right here, the ThingWorx device ID, this is very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy this device ID, because we're going to need that on our next step. Now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and open up Firefox. And we need to go to support.ptc.com. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll down let's go to manage licenses. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll down as well. So right here where it says ThingWorx Navigate Windshield, this is where we're going to request a license. So we need to make sure this select the product is at ThingWorx 8.1 plus. And let's go ahead and paste that device ID into this text field and go ahead and hit retrieve. Okay, as you see right here, it says that we've initiated our license download. So it's going to take about 15 or so minutes to get the email. Once you get the email, then we can go ahead and continue. Now that we got our license email, let's go ahead and paste the link into our web browser. And just go ahead and do a search for your name. That's the easiest way to find it. And as you see here, this is today's date. So let's go ahead and click download. So what this is telling us, it asks if we want to add a short tag to the license file. What that is just a note. So you can tell, so I could say add a note to it that says training exercise. I don't want to add a note to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel. If you want to add a note, just go ahead and hit OK. Let's go ahead and save the file. Okay, our file has been downloaded. Now we need to go to our downloads. So as you see here, the file name is 341 ThingWorx 8.1 and then the date. So that's actually an invalid ThingWorx license file name. So what we need to do, we need to go ahead and rename it to license_capability response. And then hit rename. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go back to our installation summary and just go ahead and hit OK. Hitting OK is going to start the license configurator for ThingWorx. So it takes a few seconds for it to load. So once it's loaded, just go ahead and hit forward. What we're going to do here is select download your license and then provide it here. Hit forward. And then let's go ahead and navigate to our license file. So we need to select root since it's in our downloads. And then go ahead and select license capability response and hit OK. Now let's go ahead and hit forward. So we need to provide the username and password for the administrator. And this is what you selected, what you created during the installation of ThingWorx. So I go ahead and type in the password and hit forward. Now it says we're ready to configure. Just go ahead and hit forward. And this is actually going to take a few minutes to go ahead to configure the license. Okay, now that it's done, we can just go ahead and click finish. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go back to Firefox, open up a new tab, and let's type in localhost :8080/ThingWorx with a capital T /composer with a capital C. Now we need to type in our administrator username and password. We don't need to save it. Okay, let's go ahead and accept the license agreement. And as you can see here, we now have ThingWorx up and running. Thank you for watching this video.